All right, everyone. Well, today is my worst day of the week. And today I had my biggest loss of the whole week. That's such a shame because it's Friday. I always like to go into the weekend feeling good, but well, I guess that's not going to be the case here today. Let's jump onto the screen share and start breaking it down. GCTS. Well, this is the stock that I traded. This was my first trade of the day. And, GCTS was interesting because I found it on the top gainers scanner. It was up a little bit, but right at 8 a.m., we had breaking news. News comes out at 8 a.m. and it starts spiking up. I pulled up the headline, I checked it, and I was like, okay, I'm surprised. But, yes, we actually have news that was right here at 8 a.m. So signs MOU to accelerate development of 4G and 5G ecosystem in Saudi Arabia. So memorandum of understanding, an MOU. All right. So anyways, they sign that and all of a sudden volume starts coming in and it starts squeezing. Now I had already looked at GCTS earlier because it popped up here at a little after 7 a.m., dropped down, popped back up and dropped back down. So the result of those two candles was that if you look at the 5-minute chart on this, it was ugly. Look at this. These two big red candles, it was pretty unattractive. So when it started to pop here, I was a little bit unsure, but then when I saw that there was news, I was like, okay, I'll take a starter. So I actually took my first position at $6.94. Now, on my first trade, I filled 1,936 shares of a 2,500 share order. And it was actually, it was a 5,000 share order. I tried to take the full 5,000 shares on my first trade. And again, for those of you who have been tuning in all week, I've been testing out this new strategy where I start the day with a cap of 5,000 shares until I make my first $1,000. And then once I have that cushion, I start to scale up. So tried to take 5,000 shares of this, only filled 1,900. It ends up going up. And as it popped up, I took some profit at 719, 726. And then it dipped back down on this candle, actually all the way back down. This candle hits a high of 789 and it has a low of $7. So it dipped back down, ended up getting stopped out, and then it curls back up. So I added back 1,500 shares at 775, which was up here for the break of 8. The thing was, it was kind of heavy up there at 8. All of a sudden, there was a seller, and I wasn't sure it was going to break $8. I also was aware of the fact that this had a problem on the daily chart, which was that it was just below the 200 moving average here at about $8. Sorry, $11. So it's not super close, but it was, it was there. So I was like, oh, that might be a problem. So anyways, so let me get this 10-second chart dialed in for you so you can kind of see these first trades. So yeah, so I jump in here as it pops up. It drops down, it comes back up, drops down, comes back up, and I add back, it's kind of like right in this area here. So I added back right here, and it squeezes up to 8. It dips down, I take my profit. And then all of a sudden it blasts through 8, goes to 840, 860, 880 to 9. I was like, what in the world? I didn't see that coming. So then I took my biggest position of the day as it squeezes up here at about $8. But look at, 880. But look at this candle. It hits a high of 920 and then it flushes back down. And I got nervous. I was like, uh-oh, I might have just made a big mistake. So I got out break even, of course. And then look at this. It ends up ripping up to 10. And now I'm like, well, I just got out. Can I really, should I really add back this high? So I just did some small trades up here, added at 10, pops up to 1040. Again, it drops down. Then it pops up. It goes to 11, but again, drops down. Look at all these topping tail candles, right? Here and here and here and here. The volume profile was decent, but we just kept seeing these topping tails. So in total on this whole move, I only made about $1,700. And to be honest, I was kind of frustrated with myself. I was like, man, that was really stupid. I had good entries and I fumbled it. So it ends up going sideways. It comes up to 12, rejects, comes back down. And right here, as it starts to come back up, I got in for the break of 1150. We squeeze up to 12 and go up to 1250. And this was actually my best trade of the day. Even though this was a smaller move, by this time I had a cushion. And on this trade, I was able to get myself up $4,000 on the day, which is pretty solid. So I'll show you my equity curve for today, and I'll show you my P&L in a moment, but I'm going to leave you in suspense for a second. So first trade of the day, let's see, my first trade was, it was like $300 of profit, and then another, 400, another 500. Hold on, my whole house is shaking. Well, pardon the interruption. There was a 4.8 magnitude earthquake in New Jersey. It's like my whole house was shaking. So, anyways, that was wild. We don't usually get earthquakes here in the Northeast, but yeah. So, anyways, what I was starting to say, I was showing you my P&L here, and so I worked my way up today to $1,000 of profit. Well, it was only 1,700 initially on. Well, again, it's over 1,000, but even though I only made 1,700 on GCTS, I was crossed over $1,000, and at that point I said, okay, I can increase my max share size. So increased my max share size, thinking, all right, maybe I'll kind of lean in here. Let's see what I can do. And then as GCTS made this curl back up, got myself up $4,000 on the day, and I was like, this is great. This is very good. This is solid. So unfortunately, coming into the open, I ended up screwing up a little bit. All right. So coming into the open, I took this trade here on GCTS with not full size, but I was being more aggressive on it, and I caught that rejection. Right. So is there anything that could have warned me about that trade? Well, the MACD had crossed over. We were coming back up. Sorry, it was right here. The MACD had crossed over here. Right in this area, the MACD was more or less flat. So yes, but I did look at it before I took the trade, and I was thinking it looked like it was going to curl. I was like, I think it looks like it's going to break. And so technically, like it sort of was, but it wasn't wide open. Okay, so that's the candle where I took $1,000 loss. So I went from up 4,000 on this to up 2,900. All right, so I got just so a little over 1,000. So I got stopped out on that drop right there. And then at the open, I tested the water with one more trade and lost another $200. So total profit on GCTS, $2,619.05. Here's my P&L on the screen share. So at that point, I'm like, well, not great, but not bad. And I did have $300 of profit that I was able to grab on Terra, which I'll go over in a second. But that one wasn't that exciting. So I'm sitting here at about I'm sitting at about $3,900 on the day. And then I take a loss on ZOOZ and I lose 300. All right. So now we got to kind of track the P&L. Now it's starting to move in the wrong direction. So I was able to break, $1,000. I shouldn't do this in red. I was able to break $1,000 right here. Got myself up to a high of 4,000 on the day. And then lost 1,000. Was at this point, let's see, 2,900, and then I lost another 300 on ZOOZ. So on ZOOZ, this one, Hit my scanners, IPO, and I'm like, okay, it's a de-SPAC merger actually. Today was day one. I saw it creeping up, thought the volume was too light, didn't trust it, no trades on it. It ends up halting up at 416, opening higher, and it dips for a second. I bought the dip, it squeezes up, and then it reverses, and I got stopped out. Bought 1,000 shares, lost 30 cents a share. It's a decent size loss, but it's not the end of the world. So anyways, took a $300 loss on that. And then MDIA comes up. And MDIA is where I had my worst trade of the whole week. So on MDIA, this one pre-market moved after hours and it continued pre-market. But coming into the open at 8 a.m., it was way down. So I was like, I don't think this one's going to give us any trades. I didn't really have high hopes for it. But the bell rang, and with GCTS pulling back, I guess traders were looking for something else. So this squeezes up to 280, pulls back, squeezes up to 320, and is halted. On the resumption, because it was halting kind of right at VWAP, I didn't even think it was gonna work. But it did dip and a rip up to 380, goes up to 4, just about 4, drops down. So now you've got a double top here, and then it comes back up here. No trades on any of that. But when it comes back up here, I was like, you know what? I'll take a stab. I took a stab. It goes up to 420, and then it flushes here down to 360. This is a red flag, and you know what? This is a red flag, this is a red flag, and this is a red flag. But I did take the trade on it, and on that first trade, I made 300, and then I gave back what I made, and I was up only about, I don't know. It was $50. So I was like, whatever. And then it rallies back up here and it halts up. So on resumption, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a dip. And let me show you this resumption on a 10-second chart. So on the 10-second chart, this thing resumes. And I'll just show you here for a second. I've been having internet problems all day, by the way. I don't know what the issue is. All right, so it resumes and it dips just for a moment and then it starts to push up in this candle. And I bought and I ended up filling 4,000 shares at 510, which was, I really wanted to be in at like 490. Anyways, it goes up to a high of 520 and then it dumps to 430. Whoa. Now I didn't panic sell. I actually added on the dip, but I didn't double my position to 8,000 shares. I just went up to 5,000. It bounces back up here to 480. And I was like, let me give it a second to see if we get that squeeze back up to the high. Because previously we had this flush and then we rallied back up. But it didn't. It came back down and I ended up stopping out for a $2,000 loss, which made it my biggest loss of the whole week. Now, my P&L is still $850 in the green today. So I really can't complain that my worst day of the week is still a green day. Now, actually, I made a little bit less yesterday. Yesterday, I only made about $650. But I didn't give back any profit. We just didn't have anything that really moved. Today was my worst day of the week in the sense that I was up $4,000 and I gave back 80% of my profit. That's too much to give back. And so, and for what it's worth, on that trade, I only had 4,000 shares. It wasn't even a big position. So I was still following, for the most part, my share size restrictions where I started with small size, I increased to full size, and then I brought my position back down as we got further into the day. But luck of the draw, I caught basically like a 1-point flush in one candle. And there's another one right there from $5 all the way back down. So this stock is no longer trustworthy, and it's really sad. It's a disappointing way for me to finish the week, but at the same time, maybe that's the wrong attitude. Maybe the right attitude here, and let's try this on for size. Maybe the right attitude is that this is an awesome way to end the week because I was tested. I was tested by the market. I made 4,000. Shoot, I gave back 80% of it, but I'm reminding myself in real time that you're still up $800. You still have more in your pocket than you had 3 hours ago. And this is an opportunity to exercise that discipline that I've been working on all week. So, for the last 2 weeks since I got back from the Caribbean, I've been doing my meditation every night, and I've been going in the sauna every night. So I have a sauna, which I know is a little, anyways, doesn't matter. It's part of my exercise right now that I'm doing to force myself to be uncomfortable. So I'm doing the meditation in the sauna just to kind of kill two birds with one stone. And, so 45 minutes in the sauna, it's hot, hot as can be, right? And this for me is what I made a commitment to do every day for the month of April. Now, maybe it's also going to be good for my health. I don't know. But if it helps me with my trading, that's what I'm really going for. I want to be able to bring that discipline into my trading. So in the moment when I start to feel triggered, I'm able to say, hey, this is the spot to walk away. I saw someone in the chat room today say, I just hit my max loss. I'm so frustrated. And earlier in the day, he was like, I'm having internet issues. I keep I'm getting my orders aren't getting filled right. And you could tell he was getting frustrated. And that happened to me a little bit today as well. And it is super frustrating when that happens. And I said, so he goes, I think I should walk away. And I was like, that's your gut. Your gut is telling you right now to walk away. Now, your emotional mind is going to tell you to keep trading. Your emotional mind is going to be like, take one more trade, take one more trade. Maybe you can make back some of the loss. But your gut right now, and I really think this is true, your gut right now is the correct instinct. Because sometimes there'll be days where, I'll do that. Look, for instance, I'll take a loss on MDIA, and then it comes back up here, and now I get back in with 8,000 shares at 5 because I'm frustrated, and I'm like, God dang it, this thing looks like it's gonna go. I'm getting back in, and then it dumps, and now I'm go from up 800 to down 2 or 3,000. And I look at my day, sort of in the rear view mirror, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I just did one of those. Now I'm down $4,000 on the day. This is ridiculously stupid. Why didn't I walk away? If I okay, I could have today. Could I have walked away here after I gave back 1,000 off the top? I could have. In hindsight, should I have done that? Well, yeah, it's easy to say that. Or maybe, sorry, when I was up. No, it was 2,900. Well, now, gosh, I can't remember what it was. But yeah, no, I think it was 2,900. So I could have walked away when I was up, just to 2,900 or whatever it was after I lost that 1,000 off the top. And in hindsight, would that have been the right move? Yeah, okay, it would have been. But I didn't know that at the time. At the time, what I knew was that I was still sitting on a pretty nice day. We had a couple stocks that were moving, and this could have totally been the type of day where I could have rallied back up. That wouldn't have been, that's totally plausible. But the second I took another step back down, this is where I walked. Now, if I kept trading at this point, when I'm back to 800, $850, this is where one trade could send me back into the red easily. And if I took too much risk on that one trade, I could go to max loss. And it would be more likely to happen on a day like today because there's emotion that comes with giving back 80% of the profit. If you start thinking about it, you're going to start to feel that frustration of, wow, I just gave back 80% of my profit. This is so stupid. You start to get frustrated, and now emotion gets the better of you. And next thing you know, you're marketing into this trade at the peak with emotion. So this is a great way to finish the week because this is a week and a day where I was tested and I passed the test. Yes, I gave back some profit, but that could have happened to anyone. And it could have happened to me on any other day too, because that's just the luck of the draw. So that's not really the problem. Yes, it also could have worked and gone to 550, and then I would have been up 5,000 on the day, and it would have been a great day. It would have been daily goal. Boom. So, okay, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Today, it went that way. Another time, it'll go the other way. But what's most important is that on the day when it goes the wrong way, that you take that as like, okay, all right, this is a cue from the market that it's time to walk away. This is about being conservative. It's about trying to be consistent. It doesn't matter about how many green days in a row I've had. It doesn't matter. I can have a red day and be down a couple hundred. I don't care about that. It's just about not letting myself have a snowball day where I give in to those emotional urges. And that's why I'm doing the nightly meditation. That's why I'm doing the sauna. That's why I'm trying to just really focus on this practice to strengthen that internal muscle that I've been lacking in the last few months, and it's not to say I'm not having a great year, because I am, but emotionally I've been on a bit of a roller coaster with the big emotions that come from trading with bigger size. And so that's what I really wanted to kind of self-correct, because it's not feeling good. And if trading isn't making you feel good, you're getting really angry, you're getting frustrated. That's not good. You've got to try to figure out how you can have a better relationship with gains and losses so they don't trigger that kind of reaction. So that's obviously what I'm working on right now, and I'm sharing that with you guys, in real time. Not every day is going to be, a big green day just because I'm implementing these new strategies. I will still have red days. That's bound to happen. And I will still have days like today where I give back half of my profit or I give back more. But for the most part, this week has been pretty solid. And yeah, although today I gave back 80%, and I'm bummed out about that, I am also going to look at the cup half full that I was tested and I passed the test because I'm walking away right here with some money in my pocket. And that's consistency. And you know what? Maybe on Monday or Tuesday, who knows? Maybe we'll have a stock, like a GCTS from day one, where we have something that really goes, bananas. I don't know. I mean, you just never know. So the thing is, in the meantime, until we have that kind of move, let's just take the small base hits, take the small green days, lock up small red days, and don't go crazy. Don't do anything wild. This is the time to do it. If I was going to take a lot of risk, well, gosh, do it on a day where you've got this kind of upside potential, right? Don't do it on this kind of day. This is silly. Now, MDIA, the chart, it's up 215%. So it's already certainly pretty extended. It's got 62 million shares of volume. This week, my metrics will show that I lost money on the trades later in the day. Part of that's because I usually keep trading until I take a couple losses anyways. So, given that that's kind of the way that's like my approach, is to keep trading until I give back a little and then stop. My last trades will sort of always be losers. But even so, and actually I'll say that some of my first trades this week, I had a couple days where my first trades were red. So I guess if we looked at my week, in with that kind of perspective, I had, if we looked at, I don't know the best way to do this, but several days I went red first, went green nicely, and then, gave back a little bit, if that makes sense. So, this is the window where I was doing the best, and this is also where I was trading with max size, because I was waiting until I was first up 1,000, right, before taking full size. And then on the days where I got really close to my daily goal, or we got later in the day, I was reducing my size again. I was bringing size back down from my no cap back to 5,001 shares. So that was my cap at 5,000. So anyways, I would say overall, if I looked at the week, it's been a really solid week, $13,000 of profit. It's not been a week where I had any home runs. It's not a $25,000, $30,000 week, but for $10,000 weeks, $12,000 weeks, that's a $40,000, $50,000 month. That keeps me on track for $500,000 on the year. That's kind of, I'd say that's like my target, 350 to 400, 500,000. That's the sort of my minimum goal. Anything over 250,000, I'll be happy with. I would say though, this year, I really do want to be over 300. I would like to be over 500, but I'm trying not to get too fixated on that, because the thing is, if the market's hot, it'll happen easily. If the market's cold, there's nothing I can really do. It's just going to be hard. It would be hard. So those goals are kind of independent, and this is something you have to be careful of, because the market doesn't care about your goal. You know what I mean? So if you're coming up short on your goal, you're feeling frustrated, but should you trade differently? No, not really. If the market was hot, you'd be getting your goal. You have to be able to adapt to the market, but also be realistic that we're all kind of subject to the whim of the market. If we're in a hot market, we'll do better than if we're in a cold market. So anyways, today was a little choppy. I hope that you guys get some more opportunities for those that keep trading as the day goes on, but I'm not going to overstay my welcome. I got knocked out of the day, knocked out. So, my sort of exit cues are, number one, giving back 50% of goal. Uh, and see, this is the thing, giving back 50%, if I'm up $100 and I give back 50%, that doesn't mean anything, right? I don't care about that. But it's when I give back 50% of my goal. So my goal is 5,000. So if I give back 2,500 pretty much at any time, I need to stop. So if I've gone up $4,000 and I give back 2,500, yeah, I need to stop. If I've gone up 2,500 and I give back even just, half of it, I probably should stop. So anyways, giving back more than 50% of goal. Number 2, 3 losses in a row. Baseball here, 3 strikes, you're out. Number 3, obviously max loss. Now, the thing this week is that although my max loss is still set at $5,000, I've left it at that. On my biggest day this week was down 700 before rallying back up. So that was good. And I was able to do that in a large part because I was starting each day with smaller size. So, even though I had a couple losses to start the day, it didn't draw me down too deeply. But I almost would say right now, based on the way I'm doing share size, a $5,000 max loss is almost too big. I think I could almost tighten that up to minus 2,500. I'm not going to officially do that, but I think that I kind of could. Because if I go down 2,500 trading with 5,000 share positions, I've lost 50 cents a share. And hopefully I didn't do that in one trade, although it's possible, So I kind of think that I should tighten that max loss up just a little bit. I think the $5,000 max loss during the hot market maybe makes more sense. But when I'm trying to be more conservative and focus on consistency, I got to keep those red days as small as possible so they're easier to recover from. So anyways, not a great finish to the week for me in terms of P&L, but a terrific finish in terms of discipline and staying calm, cool, and composed, even after losing 80% of my profit on the day. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you back here first thing Monday morning. Hey, and I'll remind you as always that trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so manage your risk, take it slow, and I'll see you back here on Monday.